What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel, Kono Pro. In this video we're going to be making a cool mantle for this old school full mason fireplace. Alright, so when I was designing this, I figured, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take an old piece of reclaimed Doug fir, I'm going to bevel the edges, give it some character, throw some stain on it, hit it with some urethane, and let's see what we come out with. So I grabbed a piece of old Doug fir, 2x8, that I had in my wood pile that was going to be getting thrown away. So I reclaimed that wood, found one with a straight edge, and gave it a 35-degree bevel on the edges, on the front and the two sides, which are my returns. And then basically I'm just going to cut a notch in that piece of 2x so it could just lock right onto my fireplace and nail into the nailers. Alright, so that's what we're doing in this video. Stay tuned, you'll see how I do it. So right there I'm taking a skill saw and I have it on my my table set to a 35-degree angle. I'm giving my front and my two right sides the angle cut. Now that I have my angle all cut, I'm going to knock that sharp edge off with my table saw. And so I give it like a square edge on my bevel, so it has like a 1/4 inch to 3/8 square edge on the bevel. Once that's all sanded down and a little bit of a rounded edge put on there with my sander, which I'm going to do soon, it'll come out really solid and really strong and have some cool character to it. Stay tuned, check it out. So right here we're cutting in the notch for the fireplace. So basically the fireplace, let's say it's 70 inches. We just measured our 70 inches. We went in our depth so those two returns on the right and left could touch the wall. And we made our cut. We're using a jigsaw, and then we're going to use our skill saw. These are all just standard tools most people do have, so this is a pretty easy DIY project to do. So we're taking our skill saw, we've got our clamps, table all locked in. We're going to clean it up with our jigsaw, and then we're going to dry fit it on our fireplace. Boom, there it is. See, beveled edges, old Doug fir, starting to look cool with some character. Now we're gonna really work some magic. We're gonna hit it with a sandpaper here. We're gonna hit it with like an 80 grit at first so I can knock it down. You typically can run it through a table planer, both sides, and that'll really finish off the edges nicely. But there's some character, there's some grain, and there's some knots and some things that I sort of want to stand out in this mantle. So I'm just going to use some sandpaper, and when you sand it down with the sandpaper, you'll see certain grains and certain things will start to come out that I want to, show in this piece. So I hit it with some 80 grit at first, and then I'm going to hit it with some 150, and then after that I'm going to hit it with some 220, and then we'll be ready to dry fit it on the fireplace. So see there, we got our old nailers. Boom, those old nailers were installed from the original installers of this full mason fireplace, right? And those old pieces of Doug fir were from the original build of the house. And I just marked my marks so I know where they are. And then now I'm going to dry fit the new mantle on there. I'm going to check for level. And if you have to level it up, then you can throw some shims under one side or whatever. And if you're not going to tile it like I'm going to do on this fireplace, then you can run some trim, some trim molding or another piece of Doug fir, like a 1x or something all along the bottom of that edge, like a 1x2 or 3, to cover up those nailers. If you want to have the exposed brick look, whatever. So after I countersunk it with my pilot, I'm hitting it with some 3.5 inch moisture rated deck screws. I like to use those. They're nice screws. They're really stand up to the time, being there for a long time. So I'll countersink it. I'm gonna hit it with my screws. I got 4 screws going into those 2 nailers, and then I also, on my 2 returns on my right and my left, I countersunk and I shot 2 screws into the channels that are in the wall, 2x4 framing that's in the wall right at your fireplace connection. I did that as well. I'm just showing what tile that I'm actually going to put on there, and we float that existing tile out and everything with some spec mix, and then we smooth it all out with some thin set, and then we hit it with some with those tiles you just saw. But as far as the mantle goes, we hit it with some ebony, solid ebony stain, and then we hit it with a clear coat urethane. Okay, so this mantle, let's say I bought that piece of Doug fir from the local hardware store for, you know, $15 for an 8-foot piece or whatever it is, and then let's say I got the stain for $15 for a quart, plus the clear coat another $15. I mean, you're under $100 easy as far as material goes for a brand new mantle for your fireplace. And you'll see it looks clean once it's all stained right now. So we stain it with a solid ebony, and we do a clear coat on it. I don't go through the process of that, but I show how it looks. Bam, there it is. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, but it came out sweet. When you see it in person, it looks really beautiful. We get a lot of compliments on it. Hope you all like this video. Please remember to subscribe and like, and thank you. Kono Pro, peace.